Abducted by Aliens. The story of Antonio Villas Boas on a cold night. October 15th, 1957, Antonio Villas Boas was working alone in the field, plowing with his tractor. At exactly 1 a.m., something strange happened. A red star appeared in the sky, looking like any other at first, but it began to grow in size. Boas quickly realized this wasn't a star. It was something else, and it was heading toward him. In the blink of an eye, a glowing, egg-shaped UFO was hovering about 50 meters away from him, above the field. The entire area was suddenly flooded with a bright light, turning night into day. Terrified and soaked in cold sweat, Boas tried to drive away on his tractor, but it wouldn't move fast enough. Running across the rough, plowed field was just as hopeless. He could easily trip or fall. The UFO approached, coming within 15 meters, and slowly began to descend. Now Boas could see it more clearly. The craft was egg-shaped with small red lights and 3 protruding spikes at the front. The color was hard to determine because of a rotating red light on top that blinded him. As the rotation slowed, it looked like the light changed color. The spinning part resembled a saucer or a flat bell that his horror. 3 metallic legs extended from the bottom of the craft, and it landed. Overcome by fear and with his tractor now dead, its lights out, Boas jumped from the cab and tried to flee. But it was too late. He was grabbed by the arm. The being that seized him was short and wore strange clothing. Boas reacted instinctively, turning and punching it hard in the face, knocking it down into the dirt. But just as he tried to run again, 3 more creatures caught him. They tackled him, pinning his arms and legs to the ground with incredible strength. Despite yelling, fighting, and cursing, Boas was helpless as they dragged him toward the craft. They seemed intrigued by his resistance, often stopping to stare into his face as he screamed. At the back of the UFO, there was a door that opened from above, forming a ramp to the ground. The stairs were metallic, silver, and flexible, swaying as Boas struggled against them. He tried to cling to the railings, but the beings overpowered him and eventually pulled him inside. Inside, Boas found himself in a small square room lit by flickering lights from pyramid-shaped bulbs. The polished walls reflected the light. The door closed behind him, blending perfectly into the wall. 5 aliens were inside. One gestured for Boas to follow, and with no choice, he did. They led him into a larger, oval-shaped room, possibly the center of the ship, with a large column in the middle. The aliens undressed him while he struggled and protested. They didn't hurt him, only observe him quietly while communicating with each other in sounds that Boas couldn't understand or describe. Then they began rubbing his body with a clear, odorless liquid using something like a sponge. The liquid wasn't greasy, but made him feel even colder. It dried quickly. 3 of the beings then took him to another room. They opened the door by simply touching it, revealing a small space filled with glowing red symbols. 2 more beings were inside and led him further in. The door closed behind them, leaving no visible seam. 2 aliens entered with thick red rubber tubes connected to glass containers. 1 tube ended in a glass nozzle. They pressed the tube to Boas's chin and extracted blood, leaving a dark scar. The first extraction caused no pain at first, but the spot later burned and itched. The second tube was filled completely with blood. Exhausted, Boas was left alone. He sat on a soft couch covered in thick gray fabric. After about 30 minutes, a strange smell filled the room, making it hard to breathe, like heavy smoke being inhaled. Gray vapor came from small shower-like pipes. Nauseated, Boas ran to the corner and vomited. Breathing became easier afterward. He still had no idea what the aliens truly looked like. They wore tight-fitting white suits like metallic scales, with belts that had a glowing red circle. Their helmets were opaque with small, goggle-like eye slits. Thick gloves covered their hands, and the helmets were connected to the back of the suit by 2 straight metal tubes. Then, a woman entered, without a helmet or suit. She was stunning, but in an unearthly way. Her soft, extremely light-colored hair was parted in the middle. She had large, almond-shaped blue eyes. Boas and the woman had sexual intercourse. Eventually, the young man returned home, completely exhausted, and slept the entire day.